All right, so today is Thursday, the 11th. We're going to do the warm up. I'm going to go over the homework. Then we have a foldable that we're going to do on slope. We're going to practice how to find slope of a line. And then you're going to finish up the diagnostic test if you haven't finished, and or work on your technology math project, both which are due Friday. So I want to give us more class time to get those two things done. Any questions about the agenda? Okay. Let's look at the warm up, please. Let's look at the warm up, please. We're looking at Tuesday. We're going to mark out the last two warm ups. We're going to mark out the Wednesday and the Thursday one, please. Do that now. All right. So now let's look at the Tuesday one. We've marked out the Thursday, Wednesday, and Thursday one. Let's look at this one. It says triangle A, B, C. In the diagram, this is triangle A, B, and C. Okay. The ordered pair for A, we're going to write that as, this is -4 and up 1. Please hush. For B, we're going to write that ordered pair as -2 and up to +4. And then the ordered pair for C is 0 and down 1, so that's -1. Okay. So we need to write the pre-image. We know it's the pre-image because there are no tick marks. This is the pre-image because there are no tick marks. So now we have performed a transformation, or it says transformed to A prime, B prime, C prime. Okay. And these are the new coordinates. So now we have to decide, what did they do? What transformation was made? This is where it started for A. So I'm going to put that beside this one at -4 and 1. How did it get from -4 to -8? How did it get from 1 to 2? Look at this one. For B, it started at -2 and 4. And for C, let me put these on there, A, B, C. And for C, it started at 0 and -1. All right, I'm going to pause for the calls to give you a chance to think about it and write what you think the transformation was here. Pause for the calls. I'm going to give you a minute or two. Think about it. All right, are there any ideas as to how it got from here to here? Okay, any ideas of how it got from here to here? We know that it didn't rotate because the numbers would be the same. You'd use the same 8 and the same 2 because all you're doing is turning it. So it didn't rotate. Okay. It didn't dilate because then that would mean that you'd have to multiply by or transformed. Possibility that it could have dilated if you multiply and figure out what that those numbers would be. So dilation could still be on the table. Possibility that it could have slid, that could still be on the table. And let's see, rotation, dilation, reflection. And here, no flipping because the negatives and the positives are still in the same position. So we know it didn't flip. So we can take flipping off the table. Reflection should be off the table. And what was the other one that I said should be off the table? And rotation is off the table. So you got two things that could have happened. It could have either slid or it could have dilated. Let's try translation. Let's try slide first. If it slid, that means how many spaces did it take to get from -4 to a -8? How many spaces? It took 4 spaces to get there, 4 spaces to the left. So that means that you would have to subtract 4. Well, if I subtract 4 from this, I'd also have to subtract 4 here too. What is -2 minus 4? Does that give me a -4? Type it in if you don't know. -4, it does not. So it's not a translation. So then it has to be a dilation. What can I multiply times a -4 that's going to give me a -8? 2. 2. Negative 4 would give me negative, that would give me 16, right? So let's make our scale factor 2 to see if this works. That means I'd have to multiply all of these numbers by 2. Christian, please listen. That means you need to multiply all of the numbers by 2. If I multiply this times 2, that does give me a negative 8. If I multiply 1 times 2, that is going to give me 2. So this checks out. That works. If I multiply negative 2 times this 2, that will give me a negative 4. If I multiply 4 times 2, that will give me 8. If I multiply 2 times 0, that's going to give me 0. If I multiply negative 1 times 2, that is going to give me a negative 2. So the transformation in this form is a dilation. And the scale factor K is going to be 2. Any questions about that? So our answer here is going to be a dilation scale factor of 2. We'll pause for the calls and then we're going to go over the homework. Okay. All right, let's look at the homework. We already went over Monday's homework. Let's look at Tuesday, please. For Tuesday, it says if measurement of angle 1 is this whole expression here. Sorry, let me zoom in better. So this right here is going to be 3x plus 15. The measurement of angle 2 is going to be 4x minus 5. Okay. So these two angles right here are congruent because they correspond. So I can set these two equal to each other because they are equal. And I can solve for x. So let's do that. We have angle 1 and 2. They correspond with each other, so set them equal to each other. 3x plus 15 is equal to 4x minus 5. Now we want to solve the equation. That means we need to get the x's on the same side. I'm going to move the smaller one, 3x. It's a positive 3x, so I'm going to subtract 3x to move it. When I subtract 3x from this side, I'm left with just the positive 15. When I subtract 3x here, I'm left with 1x, or I could just write x. It's understood to be a 1 in front of any variable, okay, if you don't see one. Now I'm going to bring down the minus 5. Okay. Any questions so far? Please write this down, okay? Now we're going to solve for x. Did you have a question, baby?
Yeah, is that an 8x on the 4x?
This is 3x plus 15 on this side. This is 4x minus 5 on this side. It's right here, honey, right here. All right, so now we want to get x by itself by moving the negative 5 or minus 5. What is the opposite of a minus 5? Plus 5. Very good, babe. So we're going to add 5 to both sides. We have 15 plus 5, which is 20. So x is equal to 20. So we already found one of the values. One of the values that we found was the x. Now they want you to find the y. I'm going to pause for the calls to give you a chance to write. Okay, so going back to what's given, the measurement of angle 3 is 5y. So let me look at 3. 3 is here. The measurement of this angle is 5y. Okay, so now I have to figure out what the measurement of this angle is. Well, look, they are equal. They are equal to each other because they all correspond. Okay, they're equal to each other because they all correspond. So what I'm going to do is pick the easiest equation and find the answer to that, and then set it equal to that. So which one of these equations do you feel like is going to be the easiest to substitute?
The second one.
Okay, so let's rewrite the second one. That's 4x minus 5. The answer to that, remember, they're equal to each other, so I can set it equal to 5y. Well, since I know what x is, I can replace x with 20. So this is 4 times 20 minus 5. Okay? What is 4 times 20? You have a calculator. Type it in if you don't know. We got 20 times, say somebody said it, 80. What you need, Converse? So we got 80. So this is going to be 80 minus 5 is equal to 5x. I'm sorry, 5y. My apologies. What is 80 minus 5? So we got 75 is equal to 5y. Now what do we do to figure out what y is? Divide. What do we divide by? 5. So type that in. What is 75 divided by 5? Yes. Person number 1, let's go ahead and get started. I didn't hear you. I'm sorry. 15. All right. Sorry. Okay. That's what we have. Hush. Okay. Find the values of the variables and then your reasoning. Listen. So we'll skip this one because I didn't go over the measurements of all those. It's 360. We add all of them together and set it equal to 360. But I didn't do that. All right, so let's do this one. Find the value of the variables in the figure and explain your reasoning. Okay, look. All of these added together, this angle, and this angle, all add up to 180. So we're going to add all of these together and set it equal to 180. So we have 2x plus 90 plus x all equal to 180 degrees. So now we're going to combine terms that are alike. The terms that are alike here, of course, are the x's. The number that's automatically in front of this x is 1. So we have 1x plus 2x, which is 3x. Okay, hush. Plus 90 is equal to 180. So now we're going to subtract 90 from both sides. When you subtract 90 from both sides, this gives us 3x is equal to 90. Now we're going to divide both sides by 3 to get our answer here for x. We'll pause for the calls. Please make sure you divide and put your answer in. All right, let's look at Wednesdays. Okay, so now with Wednesday says find the value of the variables. Okay, so look, these two angles right here are same side exterior. That means the two added together will give you 180. These two angles are same side exterior because they're on the outside. So the two, they're supplementary. So you can take these two and add it together and it should give you 180. So this is going to be, to find x, all I have to do is say 180 minus 106. Please type that in your calculator to see what you get.
34.
All right. Excuse me. Shh, hush, honey. All right, so this gives you the x value of 74, okay? So this is 74. All right, so now what we know is that if this is 74, this angle right here is supplementary. These two angles right here add up to 180. So this angle is going to be 106. Now what we know about this angle and this angle right here is that they correspond. They are equal. So you can set these equal to each other. This is going to be 4z plus 6 is equal to 106. They are equal to each other in measurement because they correspond. So now all you're doing, let me make this 106. It looks weird. So now all you're doing is solving that equation. Now what we did here is the same thing that we did yesterday. So go back and look at Monday's homework. And you should be able to do this second problem. So solve this and find the answer for Z. At the bottom, it says find the value of the variables, explain your reasoning. Okay, so remember these two form a straight line. So you can add these together and set it equal to 180. So that's going to be 3x plus, oh, wait a minute, there's a y here. So we can't solve that first because we got two different variables. So let's look at it another way. So this angle right here is congruent to this one. So I got 3x here, so I put 3x here. They correspond. Now what we know, since these two correspond, I can put that here. Now what we know is these two combined add up to 180. So I can add this plus this and set it equal to 180. I couldn't do these two because this is a y and this is an x. You can't solve for two variables at the same time. So we are going to add those two. That's 9x plus 12 plus the 3x is equal to 180. Okay? So now let's solve. Combine like terms, that's 3x plus 9x. We got 9, 10, 11, 12. So this is 12x plus 12 is equal to 180. Okay? Turn around. I'm going to stop right here because you all are wasting my time with me explaining this. I was going to cancel out Thursday, but you keep it. Okay? Okay, so I need you to, this is a foldable, so you're going to fold it just like this. So that it's like a little pamphlet almost. Now you need a pair of scissors. And you are going to remove this flap. So that means, watch Miss Reyes, I'm going to open it up so that I don't cut the back part of the paper. I'm only going to cut this first line here, just right to that crease. And then I'm going to cut this off right here because it says remove this flap. So that's what I did. I removed just this part. No, don't cut there. That's not what I said. We're cutting this one line right here. Okay? Please make sure that you put that to the side. And now you're going to cut these flaps. But you're not going to cut the flaps off. You're just going to separate them. You're going to cut this line and you're going to cut this line. Once you finish doing that, you can put your scissors back in the container. I'm going to give you like a couple seconds and then I'm going to get started with what we're going to do. Please take out your interactive notebook. I'm going to pause for the calls to give you a chance to catch up. All right, here we go. So this is in our interactive notebook. In the corner, we have Q2. This is page 18. We're finding slope.
Wait, 18, this one.
In our notebook, baby, yes.
I don't have it.
But that's why we use the white paper, remember?
This was page
Yes.
17.
So now we're doing page 18.
This one.
Yes, baby. Shh. All right, here we go. So when we're calculating slope, the first thing we need to know is what is the definition for slope. So we're going to write the definition for slope first. Slope is the steepness of a line. Shh. Yes. Very good. The steepness of a line. Slope is also the rate of change, okay? I'm going to say constant rate of change, okay? Slope can increase or decrease by a certain number, okay? If slope increases, then slope is a positive number. If slope decreases, then slope is a negative number, okay? Increase or decrease by a certain number in a situation. So maybe the situation is that I started off with $20 into my account, and then every single week I add 50. So since every single week I'm adding 50, my slope is going to be 50, a positive 50, because I'm adding the same number every single week. That is slope. Okay. The letter that they use for slope, and write it right here, is M. We got other names for slope. Besides the word slope itself, yes, baby. Mm-hmm. Besides the word slope itself, some other names could be rate or constant rate, rate of change, and one from last year is constant proportionality. There are two formulas for calculating slope. Or rate of change, or constant proportionality, okay, or just simple rate or unit rate. All of those are other names, okay? The first formula, we're going to say M, because remember, M is the letter that we use to represent slope. So M is slope. We have rise over run. We use rise over run to calculate the slope of a line. The other formula for slope is y2 minus y1 over x2. Sorry, y'all. X2 minus x1. This is the other formula for slope. This formula is used to find slope or the rate of change between two given points. And we know points are ordered pairs. So the two ordered pairs, you have an x and a y. A x and a y. You can be given ordered pairs just the way they are, just the list of ordered pairs. You can be given ordered pairs in a table. They're ordered pairs. Whether it's in a table or if it's in a group. To find the slope of points that are even given in a table or a group, you're going to use this formula. Notice that you have two x's and two y's. The first point you label as x1, y1 because that's the first point that's given. The second point you label as x2, y2 because that's the second point that is given. So you have two formulas for slope. There are four kinds of slope. There are four kinds of slope, okay? So we're going to label the four kinds of slope. I'm going to do 4 coordinate planes. Small ones, okay? And I kind of talked about this yesterday on the notes, in the notes yesterday. Okay, baby. Sorry. All right, so if you have a line that from left to right, the line is going up, it's a straight line that goes up. That means it has a constant rate of change. This line has a positive slope because the line is going up. Converse, you're talking way too much, babe. This has a positive slope. The line is going up. So my slope or my M is going to be equal to a positive number, okay? If I have a line that is going down, when I calculate my slope, from left to right, the line is going down. The numbers on the line start way up here, and as the line continue, the points on the line are going down. This is a negative slope. That means when I calculate my slope, my M here is going to equal a negative number. Okay? Now we may have a line that goes straight up and down, just like we talked about yesterday, a vertical line. Vertical lines have undefined slope. Ms. Reyes, why? You cannot walk up this line. Superman, Batman, maybe people with superpowers can, but a regular human being, I don't know, but a regular human being cannot walk up this line. They can climb it, but they couldn't walk it. This has undefined slope. That means your slope is going to have 0 as the denominator. Okay? It's going to be some number on top, 5, 6, -3, blah, 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 but it's going to have 0 on the bottom of the denominator as the denominator. This is undefined slope. The last type of slope there is a flat line. It's a horizontal line. I'm going to label this. This is a vertical line here. Vertical lines have undefined slope. A line that lays flat is horizontal. Oops, sorry, y'all. Horizontal lines have zero slope. Or another way to say this is no slope. That means that your M is just flat out equal to 0. It could be 0 over 10. 0 over 10 is still equal to 0. 0 over -5. 0 over any number is still equal to 0. Pause for the cause. All right. We are going to paste down this. Anybody still writing? I'm sorry. Anybody still writing? All right, cool. We're going to paste this foldable down on our next page. This is going to be page 19. And this is the slope foldable. And the first one that we're going to do is this one right here. The slope formula, slope is equal to M. And M is equal to rise. We're going to do rise over run to find the slope of a line. Rise is going to be how far you go up or down. Run is how many spaces you go from left to right. And I'm going to model that here in a minute, but please make sure that you write it down. Pause for the cause. All right. I'm going to paste mine down. Okay, so now I'm going to model how to do this one, and you're going to model how to do this one. Before, I want you to use your notes to identify what kind of slope is this and what kind of slope is this, and we're going to write that right above the graph. We have on the last page, remember I told you there are 4 different kinds of slope. So it could be positive slope, negative slope, undefined slope, or no slope. So I want you to label what kind of slope is this line and what kind of slope is this line, and put that right above the graph. So I'm going to pause. I don't want you to speak out loud. I just want you to write. All right, any ideas? What kind of slope is this one? Go ahead, babe. Very good, sweetheart. This is a positive slope. Okay. What kind of slope is this line right here? Take your earpiece out. What kind of slope is this one right here? Negative slope. Now we're going to calculate the slopes by using rise over run. I'm going to label this as the first one, and I'm going to label this as the second one, okay? For the first one, I'm going to use rise over run. So now I'm going to count. I'm going to pick 2 points on the line. This is the tricky part, but it's really kind of easy. I need to pick 2 ordered pairs on the line that I can actually read. They need to be in like a cross intersection. So look, I wouldn't choose this point right here because it's in between lines. But I could choose this point right here because this is at an intersection. This is at -1 and 0. I can choose that. I can read those 2 ordered pairs. Please do not choose a point where you cannot read the ordered pairs. I can also choose this point up here. This is at another intersection. This is 0, 1, 2, 3. So those are the 2 points that I'm going to use. So now I'm going to count rise over run here. From this point to this point, I'm going to count how far I go up or down. That's the number that I put up on top. Then go to the left or to the right. That's the number I put on the bottom. So rise is up, down. Run is to the left or to the right. So I have 2 points. From this point all the way up to where this point is, I'm going to count. I went up 1, 2, 3. So my top number is going to be a positive 3 because I went up 3 from this point to this point. Now I'm going to the right 1. So my bottom number is a 1. So the slope of this line is 3 over 1, or I can write it as just 3. Please write that down. Count to make sure that's enough, baby. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. Did you get another one? All right, I need you to focus, right? Try not to say your name every 5 minutes. Converse, you okay? Ashley, sit up, baby. All right, here we go. All right, so let's do the second one. So we're going to use the same formula, rise over run. I'm going to have M, rise over run. Remember, rise is your up and down. Run is your left to right. Let's pick 2 points on the line. I know that my answer is going to be a negative this time, okay, because it's a negative slope. Bless you, baby. So I'm going to pick 2 points on the line. I can pick this point right here, 1, 2, and 0, because it's at a little crease. I can read this. Say again. Okay. All right, now I can choose the point that's right above it. All right, so now look, I'm going to go from this point here to this point here. Or I can go from this point here to this one. It doesn't matter which direction I go into. Since I'm going from here to here, I go up 1. That's a positive 1 on the top. I go to the left 1. That's a negative 1 on the bottom. Positive 1 divided by a negative 1 is going to give me M is equal to just a negative 1 is my answer. I can leave it as a fraction, but if it can be reduced or simplified, please do that. Please reduce or simplify your answer. Pause for the cause, give you a chance to write. All right, now, anyone still writing? Okay, baby. All right, let me know when you finish. Commerce, you got it? Yeah. All right. Okay, so put your name, first and last name on this paper, please. All right, so now I need for you to tell me the kind of slopes that these are, 1 through 8. I need you to write either it's positive slope, negative slope, 0 slope, undefined slope. Please do that for each of these. Shh. I'm going to give you exactly 2 minutes to do that. Do that now, please. This is, yes. Shh. All right, so now I need for you to use rise over run to calculate the slope for 1 and 2. I need you to put this in the box before you leave, okay? I need you to do 1 and 2. You're using rise over run. Remember, rise is how far you go up or down. Run is how far you go from the left or to the right. Using the grid lines. It's the same thing that we did here in these examples, okay? The same thing that we did there in those examples. All right, they already gave you the 2 points. So all you're doing is going from this point to the next point, so on and so forth. I need you to do 1 and 2, please. Let's get packed up after you finish 1 and 2. I need you to get packed up so that we can go.